This is DG Vision Network.
Technology and its benefits is growing in leaps and bounds, cutting across all sectors of human life. This was the conclusion of experts, users, and policymakers at a just concluded Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry organized Tech Expo called Lcci Expo 2022. The event in its 8th year was held at the prestigious Museum Center, Lagos, Nigeria.
We are here in Lcci Expo 2022 to make it known to Nigerians that we have edge clouds existing here, so we don't need to patronize the hyperscalers who are more expensive, who at the end of the day receive bill shocks and also suffer latency because of the distance between where users are making use of this application.
Coming to an event hosted by Lcci, we see it as a synergy, a way to establish that presence, that in as much as they are an organization, we are also partnering with them and showing up in order to say, yes, we're here that bringing the entrepreneurs, bringing them a bit closer to government parastatals that can help them to establish themselves, because sometimes people want to grow their business but they don't know who to contact. So that's why it's important for us to be at places where Lcci and all these other organizations are coming up, and we can then say, if you want to fund, if you want to have someone in the government parastatals to support your business, come to Lcci.
Seen by many as one of the leading tech conference and exhibition show in Africa, Lcci 2022 had in participation industry leaders cutting across all sectors of African economy. The event addressed issues with sections cutting across education, innovation, policy, implementation, and exhibition. Some of the notable exhibitors, Galaxy Backbone has this to say.
Galaxy Backbone is the digital infrastructure and shared services provider to both public and private sector organizations. We provide, apart from network communications and data center services, we also provide cybersecurity services. So our goal here is to see how we can partner with some small-scale businesses, some other local ICT companies, so that they can also leverage on our infrastructure, which we have invested in for quite some time right here. So we are really looking forward to seeing how we can partner with most private sector organizations here in Lagos. We have a presence in Lagos, just like we have in Abuja as well.
Other exhibitors include Red Manor, IPNS, IHS, Rack Center, Kibal Nigeria, and many others. The event team, ensuring efficient digital infrastructure in Nigeria, had in attendance the special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Innovation and Technology, Olatunbosun Alake. According to him, the event is very much potent to the development of Lagos State.
So one of the projects that we are doing at the moment is the Metro Fiber project. What this is doing is helping to de-risk infrastructure deployment in Lagos State, specifically even in the suburb areas, right, where there are less connections. We are putting infrastructure in the ground so that other telcos, MTN, Airtel, are able to put their infrastructure within those areas. It makes it cheaper for them to go to more rural, suburban areas, because the thing about it is that telcos will go to where the market is at. That's why they are in the city areas. But they need a de-risk of their investments to be able to spread to more rural areas where the income is lower, because business will go to where the income is higher. But government has to help subsidize.
The keynote speaker, Tony Elumelu, Chairman, United Bank for Africa, represented by the Group CEO, United Bank PLC, Mr. Peter Ashande, did not fail to impress as he delved into policy issues and governance. In his words, there is need for policy review to bring about optimal performance in the sector and smooth infrastructure sharing by operators.
Again, one of the major issues that we have in this space is the suboptimal spectrum management. As you could see that, the management appear to be suboptimal. And why? One, well, the need to review policies. Policies plays a very key role in actualizing, activating, catalyzing development in many sectors. Where there's no policy, yes, policy is good, but implementation of the policy again speaks volume. In this space, there is even need to start from 0 to 1 before we can even be talking about 7, 8, 9. So as far as this spectrum management is concerned, the need to review policies is quite key to ensure optimal coexistence of licensed and unlicensed spectrum.
Following up to that was the MD Galaxy Backbone, Professor Muhammad Abubakar, represented by Group Head Business Development, Galaxy Backbone, Dauda Oyeleye. In his presentation, he stated that the government, through the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, led by Professor Isa Ali Pantami, has continued to provide an enabling environment for business and innovation to thrive and stimulate the digital economy sector.
Key role played by governments that can be leveraged. Our governments in recent times have provided opportunities to be leveraged upon to drive efficient digital infrastructure. The government, through the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, led by Professor Isa Ibrahim Pantami, has continued to provide an enabling environment for business and innovation to thrive in order to stimulate digital economy. In recent times, the government has accelerated its intervention through various policies, such as National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, NDEP, National Broadband Plan and its implementation, and also e-government master plan. At Galaxy Backbone, we are focused primarily on making available solid and service infrastructure, which are two pillars: a national digital economic policy and strategy.
Tech Coach Award winner and founder of Josh for Tech, Joshua Agbola, in a section on nexus between digital infrastructure, human capital, and industry growth, requests that government should create an enabling environment for human capital development.
The best way we can do this is by having our government officials to be able to help us to utilize this. Because now our government are not what they are doing, they are trying, but they're not doing much when it comes to this, what we call digital infrastructure. If the government could send funds to help us utilize capacity, and we could have people who understand how to utilize broadband capacity, it could better help our country. It could help us to spread it around.
In the EduTech panel section, moderated by the Chief Executive Officer of Tribe Media Company and convener of the Digivision Future Summit, Dr. Bayero Agabi, brings great interaction and openness among the panelists, consisting the academia and the industry. The section discussed the gap between the institutions, innovation, policy, and the industries.
I would say, let me start from the extreme left. We've heard what the keynote speaker has spoken about, and we also listened to the infrastructure deficiency and where the infrastructure is available. The cost of staying online is a challenge. You can be online, but staying online is a challenge, because if you stay online, that is where you are able to innovate. If you just log on and get absolutely, yes, you have to live online, not logging in and logging out,
2002 or 2000, you see, those days when we go to a cafe, so we don't really have what we call smartphone today, we all know that. You go to a cafe and you try to log into Yahoo. So once you type Yahoo, you can leave it booting and go and buy something. It's still buffing, And when you come back, you have to wait. And before you know it, you see that your 30 minutes time, you just used only 5 minutes out of the 30 minutes that you bought. All the rest is buffing. So, but then we are dealing with 2G, right? And now, before we know it, boom, 3G. Wow. So we can now, send pictures, send videos, and we stream online. As we're happy about that, before we know, we come 4G. So, like as you said, what challenges are they facing right now, especially students? And what are the governments also doing to help is the issue of, latency. So you see, most of our university, like Madam said, wants to go into digitalization. We want to ensure that we have lectures online, but do we have what it takes to stream this? I think that is the question.
Schools like public universities can still actually have infrastructure for internet service. The only challenge is that the populations of these schools actually put a huge demand on what's available. So I think what could be, because I feel that Nigerian universities are hardly tapping into their alumni strength. And this is what schools abroad actually do on a regular basis. MIT, Stanford, and all of those. So I feel if public universities can cooperate with their alumni bodies, there could be specific funds set up for internet infrastructure. There are hubs, there are cities, there are localities that can grow on just 2 or 3 products gotten right. So I want to believe that that is where it's going to start from. So forums like this, we should always continue to look for opportunities to envision people on what technology can do when we get it right.
Actually, for every information technology project, security is one of the key things right from the beginning. You may not have to be specific on how you plan to secure your system, but for you to actually get any stakeholders buy-in, security is important. For us, for example, we process our results online. And one thing that distinguishes the university from any institution is the handling of examination and results matters. So any institution that is going digital, even if you don't secure anything else, if you don't mind people plagiarizing your thesis and everything, you must secure your results and examination over a very powerful encryption system.
Engineer Leye Kukpoluye is the chairman, Trade Promotion Board. To him, there must be an upgrade in terms of infrastructure in the IT space for a meaningful development both from the government and the private sector. He also speaks on the essence of the event, its 8th edition.
This year, we are focusing on infrastructural development in that sector, because there cannot be any meaningful development without really upgrading our infrastructure and making sure that it's up to date. And direct investment by government and private sector must be focused in this area. And thank God there have been a lot of improvement from 2001, when we had the advent of the TECO, and today there is growth of contribution in this sector to our economy. If there's any real considerable growth in the last 10 years, has been from this sector. Therefore, if this sector already is contributing to as much as even more than what our oil revenue is contributing to the economy, I think there's no going saying that we must focus in this area. And more importantly, this is the area of the future. This area that employ over substantial percentage of our population, which is the youth, people below 40. Majority of them are engaged in this area, and this area has provided so much of real enterprises, many entrepreneurs, young ones that are now of international reputation, all over the world. We've done something on our IL, we have done something on the 4G, and now on infrastructure. These are critical areas that have been a real component of development. And when you bring all these ones together, that is when you have the real growth. And we have a lot of success story. Many enterprises that started small, they are big today. And we see the phenomenal growth that we have seen, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. And the COVID, for example, instead of being a barrier, it was an opening opportunity, making people to be aware of how important that this digital world has contributed to our development, from medicine to agriculture to every, is an enabler in all ways, in all side of business. And that is the thing that gives us joy.
ICTEL is one of Nigeria's leading tech and business events organized annually by the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry to boost interaction and assess growth in the digital ecosystem. I am Omoye for Digivation Network. For more on well-researched and balanced stories, events and interviews across business, tech innovation and lifestyle, please subscribe to this channel www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.
This is Digivation Network.